Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Mr. BadMae here with a quick update on the 1.58 open beta. I know some of you guys have been waiting a while for me to talk about this particular topic, but I didn't want to talk about it too quickly, as I wanted to get in, put my hands on the open beta, get my first thoughts on it, as well as I wanted to actually see what 1.58 was doing in terms of things like mods, modded engines, modded trucks, modded sounds, because all of that is being touched in this beta. And I wanted to see exactly what impact that was going to have to give you guys a true first impressions on what's happening. I've seen some of the videos out there myself on 158. Everybody, all the content creators are all rushing to get their stuff out there, which I'll find them well. That's just what content creators do. Can respect that. But that led them to, kind of dive in my opinion, on areas that maybe were more eye candy than actual guts. And so I just wanted to jump in and talk about what's truly happening. You know, Obviously, you guys are aware of the the Route 66 rework. Everybody's seen that. I think Goggles did a pretty good, drive through oversight on that, as well as a couple other people. I'm not too worried about that because it's not complete yet. It'll be complete when Illinois comes out, right? And we'll have start to finish. I'm sure there'll be some kickoff event or something like that from SCS. So I'll hold my thoughts on that whole thing just yet. They're talking about cars and stuff in here. Again, I'm going to hold off till we actually get the car pack, or at least get a car beta. Until then, there's no telling. So we'll wait and see what these physics do to those. Um, let's see. What else was in here we're talking about? So the Driving Academy update. So reading between the lines here and playing a little bit of this myself, what they've done, obviously here on paper, right? They have added double parking to Driving Academy. Okay, great. Um, I have a suspicion, at least in this iteration, they have changed the physics of double trailers. They have made it so that the rear trailer follows the front trailer a lot easier, a lot better. So it's actually possible to park these things down instead of your dolly going all floppy in the middle. So that won't happen anymore. The problem is, at least right now, as far as I've seen, those physics are limited to the driving academy experience. So it's a different module. For those of you who don't know, it's not the entire game. It is a different module where all you do in it is park. Um, that said, I do believe this change is going to make it to the full game. Maybe it will make it to the full game when 158 actually hits. We'll have to wait and see. So no judgment on that just yet. I am looking forward to getting to the new toy, this little doggy here. I've done it over there already in the beta. It's not an issue. Parking's pretty straightforward. It's not too bad. New truck garages. Again, I think Paulie did a good walkthrough on those. He did encounter a couple of weirdness. Like, I think here there's like a fuel up right here in this picture area. There's like a refuel icon, but there's no gas tank over here, so that's kind of weird. I think the gas tank's actually over there, but you fill up over here. I don't know. Again, that could be a 1.58 beta thing. Maybe they'll move it over there for the actual launch. We'll see. So again, I'm not going to judge that too harshly. There has been talks or rumors that some people need to sell their garage and rebuy it in order to see the new skin garages. I don't know if that's happening to folks or not. It didn't happen to me. Um, yeah, anyways, I'll wait to see what that comes out with. This is what I wanted to talk about, or at least some of the stuff I wanted to talk about. The vehicle behavior physics and collisions update. So this is where things like suspension changed, in addition to uh, little subtle things like the reflection on the road changed. And why did that happen? Well, I'll tell you why. Um, so the physics stuff, mainly what they're looking at is like throttle response, right? So this is talking about like torque engine mapping and then off throttle. So when you let go of your accelerator or you let go of the W key if you drive it on keyboard, right? How do you coast? What natural resistance between the road and the engine mechanics, right? What kind of resistance kicks in naturally? Just part of physics. So that changed. And how did that change is on in the engines, right, on the back end in the files, they now they've included a property called resistance torque. So engines that don't have it will work in 1.58, but obviously if they don't specify engine torque, the game will look at how much torque the engine has, because torque has to be mapped or else you don't have an engine. That's just how it works in ATS. So torque has to be accounted for, and based on the number of torque, the game will auto assign engine like resistance torque values to it, unless the engine modder has specified a value themselves. So for my engine mod, right, Mr. BadMae's engines and transmissions, I've gone through and updated it for 1.58. So we're all covered. Everything's good. The update's been out now for a little over a week, so you guys are all solid. I do need to update my ETS2 engines transmissions, and I have an update coming for that soon. So don't worry, you'll be covered. Um, the other thing that they've done is the suspension, right? So I thought personally this was going to be a bigger deal to the modded trucks, right? The John Rudas, the 850s, and whoever else, Bitzer, Jasper, all those guys. I thought it was going to affect them worse than it did. It seems like a lot of them, at least from what they're saying, and I've spoken to a handful of them. They're saying that this really didn't affect them whatsoever. I don't know if they're just saying that or if they've just gone in and fixed it. Right? It was a minor change, kind of like the resistance torque was for my engines. It could have been. Right? I don't have clarity on that, but this seems like a net positive. Trucks are just going to feel a lot more responsive in their suspensions, and your bobbles and wobbles and all that stuff are going to feel a lot better. Again, I think this is aimed mostly at the four-wheelers, aka the cars, trucks, jeeps, that kind of stuff they're bringing in. But nonetheless, I appreciate the change, and looking forward to having it officially in the game because it feels good in the beta. Um, let's see, tutorial redesign. Nah, don't really matter. Uh, Route Advisor Redesign. So again, it's modular over there now. It looks nice. This is definitely aimed at consoles. But I do like that the GPS is more simplified. And just the modular nature of the new UI, it's quite nice. It's a nice change. Quick info feature, doesn't matter. Configuration improvements. This has been a nice touch up, I would say. It's not a complete overhaul. But some nice little touch ups in there. Maybe it'll help navigating modded trucks, with 1,000 different clickable things on them a little bit easier. Oh, excuse me. Management screen. Yeah, doesn't really matter too much. Um, so what happened as well that they did not talk about in here, and earlier I mentioned about the reflections and stuff look a little bit better in 1.58 than they have prior. And I'm talking with no graphics mods whatsoever. They look a little bit better because they've changed the glass file in 1.58. Now, what is a glass file, you might add? So there's in the files, there's a simple file just called glass.mat. It controls how much light comes through your different glasses, right? It could be your front windshield, your side windows, etc. So there used to be various different glass files that controlled different windows in the truck. They've simplified it. Now there's one. And for better or worse, right, that did break a lot of trucks. The modders I've spoken to have already addressed it with their truck, so I don't think we're going to have any problems with the big players in the space anyway. Some modders out there are going to get bit by this for sure, but hopefully, fingers crossed, everything's good. But what changed is that they have altered the last.mat files to support the new Mac Pioneer coming out. So why did they have to do that? Well, if you've seen any IRL videos of a Mac Pioneer, if you haven't, I recommend you go look at them on YouTube. There's a lot of like walkarounds, things like that. The entire cabin of the Mac Pioneer is kind of shaped almost like a private jet. The front of the windshield is kind of like an oval almost. It just wraps around the truck and it does like this circular motion. Um, and it's just technology that Mac and Volvo have come out with to one, make the truck more aerodynamic, better efficiency, but then also to help with rain runoff and that kind of stuff to prolong their windshield wipers and whatnot. It looks very cool on the truck. It's definitely a more modern design than we're used to, especially from Mac. Um, but because of that curvature in the glass, SCS had to essentially redo that glass.mat file because it controls reflections, controls how sunlight comes through, and obviously that curvature is going to deviate or alter how sun reacts off of that cabin. So everything had to be redone in that regard, and that's why it was changed. And you might say, well, wait, we don't have the Mac Pioneer in the game. True, we don't. But on SES's side, they do. Right? That truck has been in development now for about a year. Hopefully, we see here soon. Fingers crossed. But this is one step in the right direction of us getting the Mac Pioneer into the production game. So hopefully, right, maybe they'll spoil us and it'll be part of this 10-year anniversary update. I don't think so, but maybe that would be kind of cool. Um, so yeah, that's my rundown of 158, and that's really the guts of what's changed. So it's the glass files, reflections, the suspension, and the torque. That's really what we're getting. The rest of it is basically eye candy, and all things for the future in cars and coaches and that kind of stuff. So I hope this has been helpful. And if you guys haven't gone and checked out the 158 beta, it should be running for another week or two if you're interested. If not, just wait for the official release, and I'll be right there with you as soon as it drops. I'll be trucking in it and I'll be streaming it. So if you want to stop on by and check out the live stream, I appreciate it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, notification bell, all the things, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Take care.